Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank where I climb the online VGC 20 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Today we're trying out a really cool team that has TYRANITAR'S on it. This team was built by a player called Matty Moo VGC, and they were able to get top 4 at Malmo Regionals with it a couple of weekends ago. You may recognize this team because it was originally built by a player called Justin Ramirez, who was able to win a big online tournament with it a couple of weeks ago, and Andrew Ding modified it afterwards and was able to get first place at Collinsville Regionals with it. So it's a really strong core, and a lot of excellent players have been able to pilot similar versions of this team to great success. Of course, once again, credits to Justin Ramirez, who was the original team builder and came up with the core. And yeah, it's a lot of fun to use, and I'll link all the team reports for the very original version of this team, the team that won Collinsville Regionals, and then the TYRANITAR'S version of this team, once again, all piloted by different players as well, all in the description below. So thank you to Maddie for providing a renter code for this team. And TYRANITAR'S really interesting because, of course, you're able to be a little bit faster than Incineroar. You're able to get a fast U-turn off into your own TYRANITAR, actually, and activate weakness policy. It's also got some good utility, obviously, and overall, it's a super fun Pokemon to use. A lot of other cool things on this team, like Yom, Pixie Plate, Sylveon, support Gothitelle, and Durant. So, we're just going to get into today's episode, and thank you guys, as always, for watching. Question of the day is, did you catch today's stream? As you guys know, I'm streaming a lot more on Twitch now that, I have more time, and I'm just staying around at home. Today we were raising money for a charity, actually, the Best Friends Animal Society, and we were able to raise over $1,700, which was super great. And there were a lot of fun moments on stream. I am definitely going to be uploading stream highlights from Twitch onto YouTube at some point, so stay tuned for that. Just need to figure out how to best clip it and how to, best get them onto YouTube. But yeah, if you did catch today's stream, what did you think about it? Hopefully you had fun, and hopefully I'll catch one of you guys in a future stream over at twitch.tv/CybertronVGC. Also, something very exciting came in the mail today. I wanted to do an unboxing video for it, but then I recorded a little bit of it, and I thought it was kind of weird, so I thought I would just thank you guys over here instead. Of course, you can see the YouTube silver play button has finally made its way over, and honestly, guys, I'm super excited to have this. I was very, very eager to get it once we reached 100,000 subscribers, and it really feels like just like a dream come true, and it's something that I've been working towards obviously for quite a while, but when I started my YouTube channel, never really thought it would happen. So thank you guys so much for making it possible, for supporting my content throughout the years, for watching this channel. It really means the world to me, and I'm super lucky that I get to do this for you guys every day. So thank you for being a part of this journey. Alright, let's jump into today's episode. And as always, if you guys enjoy, please share support by leaving a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Alright. Lapras, Whim, Excadrill, Togekiss, Dracozolt, and Incineroar. So a lot of fast, mid-tier, I'd say mid-tier speed to fast Pokemon. More in the mid-tier speed range, though. But obviously there's Tailwind support. So Trick Room could be an interesting option. With this team, you always have to consider who you want to Dynamax, and normally it's between Durant and the TYRANITAR. Max TYRANITAR here is really good if we can knock out Excadrill, so I think that will be the goal. One thing we could actually do is just lead Torracat TYRANITAR and just U-turn immediately. Sylveon's also not bad here if we're able to knock out Excadrill. So we could go like Torracat, Tyranitar, Sylveon, and Milotic. Part of me wants to bring Gothitelle to trap in, but I actually think this isn't too bad either. So I'm conceding that Tailwind is going to be set up on the opposing end, and I'm saying, you know what, that's totally fine if Tailwind is set up. I am going to be able to just outbulk you anyway, and with the Intimidate support from Torracat, which of course this team features, I'll be able to slow you down a little bit. And Intimidate's actually really useful here, given that my opponent has both the Excadrill and the Dracozolt. So let's see. It is going to be Whimsicott coming out straight as a lead, as well as Dracozolt, actually. Okay, interesting. So one thing we could do here is actually go for the U-turn into TYRANITAR and max Rockfall into Dracozolt. Alternatively, we could just fake out Whimsicott and maybe double up on that spot. I don't know if a +1 max Rockfall knocks out Tyranitar, or sorry, knocks out Dracozolt, because it's likely the Dracozolt's going to want to max Wormwind, I think. But that's where we could either switch into Sylveon or Milotic. So yeah, I think I'm actually going to go for the self U-turn, especially because I think Whimsicott here might protect. Self U-turn, get that weakness policy activated, and go immediately for a max Rockfall into... Or actually, I guess max Darkness is better here, right? Because lowering special defense against the Whimsicott could be more helpful for Milotic and Sylveon in the back. Yeah. Okay, so we immediately get to feature Torracat, which is exciting. Dracozolt is going to Dynamax, so that's not very surprising. So the question here is, does Whimsicott protect? Because one play we could have made was just fake out Max Rockfall into Whimsicott, but I Actually not too worried about Whimsicott in this set, but of course Dracozolt, super powerful Pokemon, similar to Rant with Hustle. One thing that maybe I could have done if I brought Gothitelle was just U-turn pivot out into Gothitelle, because then we've trapped in the Dracozolt with -1, and we can go for a, what can we go for? We can go for Trick Room, and, you know, Whimsicott's not a Pokemon that really likes being trapped in, especially if it doesn't have Taunt, because it barely does anything other than maybe click Moonblast for a little bit of damage. So we're going to Dynamax Tyranitar, one of the bulkiest Dynamax Pokemon you can really have in this format, sitting at 410 HP. Let's see. Ooh, he's actually going to Helping Hand. This might be a Helping Hand Max Wormwind snipe into the Torracat, but as you can see here, Torracat is faster, so we're actually going to be able to get the U-turn off. Going to get that +2. I'm pretty sure this Dracozolt shouldn't KO us. So the question now is, who do I switch into? Because I could switch into Sylveon if I'm expecting a Max Wormwind. Alternatively, I can go into Milotic, because it could just be a Max Electric instead, but both Whimsicott and Milotic are pretty solid here. I think I'll switch into Sylveon, because if it is Max Wormwind going into that slot, that's going to be incredible. The Tyranitar could obviously get targeted here as well. So let's see what Dracozolt goes for. Oh, he's actually going to Max Quake. Okay. Into Tyranitar, which will activate our weakness policy. Well, I was going to say would have activated our weakness policy, but yeah, that's fine. I think I'll take that. So we're just going to negate the special defense boost, but we are at +2, so I want to say we KO the Dracozolt here. Let's see. Gonna get a big Max Darkness off, gonna bring the Whimsicott down back to neutral, and we actually do not KO the Dracozolt, but that's in quick attack KO range if not Sandstorm already, so that's totally fine. I will take that turn. The Torracat here being faster was nice. I mean, yeah, the Dracozolt actually ends up surviving, but that actually might work out more in our favor because we have quick attack. Because Whimsicott shouldn't be able to knock out Tyranitar, so I think we can just pick up a double KO here with quick attack onto the Dracozolt and a Max Rockfall onto the Whimsicott. I don't think Moonblast from Whimsicott knocks out Dynamax Tyranitar in this range, but I'm not 100% confident on that. And so the beauty of priority from Sylveon comes out here. We knock out that Dracozolt, and it really wasn't able to do too much against us in this match. So that's also the biggest threat to Milotic out of the way, so that's also solid. And we're just going to see a Moonblast, okay, targeting Sylveon. Alright, cool. So this should be a double KO, and yeah, look how bulky Sylveon is. Sylveon, of course, an alternative to Togekiss, which is used very, very frequently. Now, they don't necessarily fulfill the exact same role, but of course they do spread damage. Yawn is a potential move on both options. And overall, Sylveon, of course, was able to win the Oceania International Championships as well. And, you know, it's just this really bulky Pokemon that does a lot of damage through Hyper Voice, but it can also get a lot of utility through Yawn. So, Togekiss comes in, that's more than fine to see, and we are going to see the Excadrill as the last one. So, Milotic, I think, has a really good matchup here, and I'm going to want to switch out this Sylveon just to start stacking those Intimidates off. So, I think I'm fine just going straight out into Torracat and going for a Max Rockfall. If we knock out the Togekiss, we just win the game. But at this point, I think Milotic's actually going to be in a very, very good position. One cool thing you can do with this team, as Andrew Ding actually did with his version of the team in the finals of Collinsville, was use Durant and use Max Steel Spike and Max Quake to actually boost Milotic stats, because Milotic can be very, very difficult to take care of once you get even a single boost onto it. Let's see if High Horsepower KOs us here. It does not, but it's probably going to be a Dazzling Gleam here as well. No, it's actually Air Slash into... Okay, Torracat, yeah, that wins us the game. Part of the reason, which is why I wanted to cycle in that Intimidate. But even if my opponent Dazzling Gleam, like, you don't have Dynamax anymore, I know you're probably crit Togekiss, and then Milotic can just come in and put in some work. We still have to avoid, I guess, getting flinched or critted, but Milotic has super effective attacks against both. And after the Intimidate, I'm not sure. I actually really want to figure out this calc, so I'm going to bring out Sylveon. Well, it's 4v1 right now, so probably just going to be a forfeit here. Someone in Twitch chat the other day mentioned that Marcus Stature, who's one of the best players of all time, when he was making videos in 2016, used to attack himself on turns that he was confident his opponent would forfeit in. So maybe we should start doing that. And our opponent actually doesn't forfeit, but we missed the overheat. So once again, this shows you some added value of Torracat, right? Like, you are a lot faster than Incineroar, so you're actually able to outspeed Mold Breaker Excadrill in positions like this, which is really cool as well. So Torracat actually did a lot for us in this game. It was able to activate the weakness policy, although that technically didn't end up being super relevant because the Dracozolt did Max Quake us, but, you know, fast Intimidate, able to outspeed Dracozolt, able to outspeed the Excadrill, and, yeah, Overheat, of course, you don't take any recoil damage as well. Now, obviously, we missed the Overheat, but being able to just set up Tyranitar on turn 1 puts on so much pressure, because Dynamax Tyranitar is one of the most difficult Pokemon in this game to KO. So, here, I think we're fine to just, it's actually safer to probably Protect here. I actually want to see if Iron Head KO, so actually yawning, I'm fine just yawning and Ice Beaming. Just in case it's weakness policy, Excadrill. Also don't want to risk missing Muddy Water. Yeah, we survive Iron Head. Beautiful. Let's see if we flinch. If we flinch, my opponent could win this through a series of flinches and crits. Okay, Sylveon flinches as well. Okay. Sandstorm is gone now, though. With the Intimidate, I don't even think Excadrill can 2v1, so I'm just going to Protect here so that their attacks are forced to be spray damage. I'm pretty sure a Muddy Water should just KO from this range, but we do need to hit it and not flinch. Alright. Excadrill is slowly clawing it back, but they're just going for an Earthquake. Okay, nice. This shouldn't do more than like 30% of my Milotic at most, plus we've got lefties as well. Yeah, that did 40 damage, so just under 20%. And Muddy Water misses! Oh god. Is this happening? Is this going to be the unluckiest match of our life? Might as well quick attack for the chip damage here then in Muddy Water. It might have been more consistent to just double Ice Beam actually in retrospect, but I wasn't sure if that was KOing. I actually think double Ice Beam was probably just a play. Especially with quick attack chip damage, I think that would have been enough. But yeah, my opponent's basically going for Earthquake crit at this point. But like my Milotic is so tanky that with the Intimidate taking literally no damage. And Muddy Water will finally connect. So Excadrill will take you a little bit longer than usual to get KO'd, but we managed to get the knockout. So nice. We bring out Torracat in the very first game with this team, which is awesome. Get to feature the value that it can potentially bring into a matchup. And once again, like if my opponent wasn't going for that turn 1 Max Quick on a Tyranitar, like point is we guarantee that the Tyranitar is set up for the remainder of the match, which is great. And you can see even with Helping Hand, even with Hustle, Max Quake from Dracozolt wasn't even able to KO us, which is beautiful. So Dynamax Tyranitar, a really strong Pokemon, and a lot of people, especially towards the end of Season 2, were using Dynamax Tyranitar. If you look at the top teams from the Oceania International Championships, many of those had Tyranitar, and a lot of those players would max Tyranitar in most of their matches. So, very familiar team we're going up for the next game. Of course, this is the team that Fevzi used, and we featured it on this channel. Now, in my experience, Tyranitar is really good into these teams. We don't have Max Rockfall here. We do have Max Electric, which is interesting. Sylveon, as you'll see there, my opponent does not have any Fairy Resist as well, so that could be good. Now, it is likely they go through the Trick Room route with a... yeah, you could just go the Trick Room route, but one thing that's interesting is we could go in Torracat and Tyranitar. Once again, actually. Because you can't change the weather. I guess Alchemy could Fake Tears us, but we know... maybe I actually want to go with Sylveon. Sylveon's bulky and pressures with Yawn immediately, which I think is quite nice. Sylveon Milotic here is interesting, although I don't think you ever lead anything like you don't lead the Incineroar here, I wouldn't think. We could go Sylveon Tyranitar. Or Sylveon Gothitelle, that's interesting too. Slow things down a little bit. With Tyranitar and maybe Milotic or Torracat. I mean, Torracat doesn't do much damage here, but it's actually still worth considering bringing. I'm actually going to bring the Torracat. I mean, it's our first time playing with this team, so might as well feature Torracat as much as possible. I think there are a lot of ways we could lead into this matchup. Honestly, Incineroar Torracat might have been fine too, but the thing with Sylveon Gothitelle is not only do we have Fake Out, we also have Yawn, so if my opponent leads Alchemy and Lapras, we could Fake Out the Alchemy and just Yawn Lapras turn 1, which would be pretty neat. I also don't know how fast the Lapras is relative to the Tyranitar. Although Torracat Tyranitar actually would have worked out brilliantly for us here. Because we could have just U-turned, getting Gothitelle, and Max Rockfall to KO the Lapras immediately. But this is still fine. I think we're going to just Yawn Lapras turn 1. He's probably going to Max Resonance, but that's fine. Yawn Lapras, there's no point in really Fake Outing here. So I'm down to just actually start getting damage off. See, I've got T-Tar Torracat in the back. I think you probably max Lapras and Resonance, but Lapras can't heal with this team, so I'm just going to slowly chip away at it. Yeah, it looks like Lapras is going to max. So the good thing here is that we're going to waste the... Like, I think the way you beat this team is often you have to stall out the Dynamax. Now, unfortunately, there are going to be so many turns of screens that we're going to have to deal with, but with Gothitelle trapping in, we shouldn't really take that much damage. And obviously, Lapras is going to get put to sleep, which is going to stall out the Dynamax. And then once max is over, you're stuck in with the sleep Pokemon the entire time, which is great. So, yep, just the G-Max Resonance comes out. It might just be a Nightshade coming out, honestly, from the... Actually does a lot more damage than I expected. Over 50%. Might be just a Nightshade coming out from the Dusclops. That is the move I expect, which I would be alright with. The main thing here is that Lapras is definitely getting put to sleep, because you can't switch out, right? So after this turn, it's getting put to sleep, which means then I get the free switching into Tyranitar. But Dusclops is actually going to Trick Room, which is pretty interesting, because right now Gothitelle and Sylveon are actually in pretty solid spots. Okay. So, I am just going to Hyper Voice. Let's get the Throat Spray going. Like, that'd be pretty good. I think Helping Hand Hyper Voice is fine. We could also Protect here, because it's likely you might actually double up into the Sylveon. Yeah, I think I'm actually just going to Protect Psychic here. Even if you knock out Gothitelle, the main thing is that Lapras is going to be asleep after this turn. So, like, I'm fine with that. I just don't want Sylveon to eat up a Max Geyser and a Nightshade and take way too much unnecessary damage. Yep, Nightshade into Protect. I don't really care who Lapras targets here. Spadef drop would be nice here, but it's not necessary. And there's Max Geyser. Let's see who is targeting. Because I think Sylveon's obviously the threat right now, right? Yeah. Beautiful. And that actually would have done a fair amount of damage as well, so that's exactly why we made that play. And that was a crit too. Okay, not bad. So now what we can do is just start stalling out the Dynamax and the Aurora Veil turns, basically. We could also switch out into Tyranitar, which I honestly think I probably will do. So I'm just going to Hyper Voice here and switch out into Tyranitar. Yeah. We were definitely Dynamaxing Tyranitar, and after Hyper Voice, we get the Throat Spray off, and then Lapras' Dynamax ends, and then the following turn we can just Max Darkness Hyper Voice with Tyranitar. Of course, Max Darkness lowers the Spadef too, which is pretty good. Now, we do have to watch out for the Conkeldurr in the back, which we know is Life Orb Iron Fist, so it obviously packs quite the punch. No pun intended, as Nightshade just comes out. Yep, targeting the God Slot actually, okay. So I'll take that. Tyranitar doesn't take that much damage from it. Hyper Voice will come out. And we're not doing much damage, but we get the Throat Spray off. And the main thing here is that we stalled out the Dynamax on Lapras' end, which is great. And now with Tyranitar in, every Max Darkness we get off is going to be another special defense drop on the opposing end, which is cool. We still have to play this carefully, though, because we have Torracat and Gothitelle as our back two, so they don't really provide very much offense whatsoever. Like, here's another cool thing we can actually do. We have Quick Attack, so one thing we could do is actually self-Quick Attack to activate our weakness policy. So I'm actually considering doing. Now, presumably my opponent is going to have the Conkeldurr in the back, so I don't actually necessarily want to pick up a KO this turn. And for that reason, I think I'm actually going to Hyper Voice and protect the Tyranitar. Yeah. Because I would like to pick up a knockout the turn Trick Room ends so that Conkeldurr can't thrive outside of Trick Room. And beautiful, Nightshade goes into Tyranitar. Great. Okay, even if Lapras stays, wakes up here, that's fine. It does wake up. It's actually going to Hydro Pump into Tyranitar. Okay. That actually would have activated our weakness policy, but that's fine. Yeah, so here's the great thing, right? It's the last turn of Dynamax. Or sorry, the last turn of Trick Room now. And we should outspeed with both Sylveon and Tyranitar. So we can just max the Sylveon. Or sorry, max the Tyranitar. You know, maxing Sylveon is actually an interesting consideration, but it's likely my opponent has Togekiss and Conkeldurr in the back, I would suppose. So I'm gonna max Tar. But the thing is, we're gonna take damage onto it, but then, I mean, Sylveon should beat Conkeldurr. Like, if we just pick up a double KO here, I think we're fine. So, Hyper Voice. I guess we don't even need to knock out Dusclops necessarily, actually. Yeah, I'm down to just Hyper Voice, and I don't know if Max Darkness plus Hyper Voice should KO Lapras. I'd be really surprised if it didn't. Okay. So, early wake up from my opponent, but once again, Lapras doesn't really do much damage, and sure, screens are up, but we also have... actually, Max Darkness was in the play. Max Knuckle for the attack boost was the play, I think. So I misplayed that a little bit. Yeah, because we're picking up the knockout onto Lapras anyway, so we might as well go for an attack boost. Now, Incineroar is obviously in the, Conkeldurr is obviously in the back. We're gonna take some Nightshade damage as well, but Tyranitar is still decently beefy here, and I should have Max Knuckled there. Yeah, Darkness was KOing anyway. And since we know Lapras outspeeds the Sylveon as well, little reason to have gone for that. Although, I mean, I guess if Hyper Voice KOs Dusclops here, let's see. Then maybe... Actually, yeah, I actually don't want to KO Dusclops, though. Yeah. And the reason for that is because Dusclops, when it's this low HP outside of Trick Room, is really useless. So now it's like, okay, who do you bring in? Conkeldurr, Incineroar, Togekiss, regardless of whoever you bring in, the Dusclops slot is relatively useless because I'll be able to pick up a KO. If you bring out Conkeldurr, Hyper Voice is just going to destroy you, and if you bring out Togekiss, well, Tyranitar still is relatively set up and could just go for Max Rockfall. So my play here, I think, is to just Hyper Voice Max Rockfall. We know it's Weakness Policy Kiss too. I think my opponent might go for a flinch onto Sylveon, honestly. But if you flinch Sylveon and your last one is Conkeldurr, we should win anyway, even if you flinch us. So I think we just Max Rockfall Togekiss and Hyper Voice here. Yeah, I think we're in a really good spot. That's why I wanted to trap in with Gothitelle and Sylveon early on. It's actually just Gleaming. That shouldn't KO either. Yeah, we take that like a champ. In fact, that actually activates Weakness Policy too. So yeah, this team really highlights the strength of Tyranitar and Torracat. Yeah, so Hyper Voice should just KO Dusclops here. Now we knock out Togekiss. Yeah, I didn't want to KO Dusclops because if I KO Dusclops and my opponent gets 2 free switch-ins, I think Conkeldurr is very likely the last one. And if Conkeldurr is the last one and you get that free switch-in with Togekiss, well then Togekiss has redirection support. But if I force only one Pokemon to come in, once again, if you switch out that Conkeldurr, Hyper Voice knocks out Dusclops and does probably like 80% to the Conkeldurr if it doesn't outright KO it. Even if you're Mach Punching Tyranitar, and you have to Mach Punch Tyranitar at that point. And if you bring in Togekiss, well, what you saw just happens. So, yeah. Should be Conkeldurr as the last one. I'd be very surprised if it weren't, but there's no way my opponent can win at this point, even with Torracat and Gothitelle in the back. Especially because Sylveon has Throat Sprayed up, and it is indeed the Conkeldurr as we expected. So, no reason to... Actually, Yawning is probably the correct play here. Because we know it's not Flame Orb. But I actually want to know how much Hyper Voice damage does, so I'm just going to Hyper Voice. Actually, we outspeed with both, so I'm pretty sure Knuckle and Hyper Voice just KO here anyway. But I am curious how much Hyper Voice single target from Throat Spray Sylveon does against Conkeldurr with screens up. But with Incineroar in the back as well as Gothitelle, there's just no way to win. So once again, this team is super strong and it supports Tyranitar really, really well. And I think, it's kind of cool because a lot of teams, obviously, like the majority of teams in this format do have Togekiss, but this team doesn't, and has Sylveon instead. But it uses Sylveon in a really cool way where you can spam Yawn and you do a lot of damage with Hyper Voice. Quick Attack also allows for some really cool synergies. We didn't activate our Weakness Policy in this game with Quick Attack, but once again, that is something that you could potentially do. And it actually just outright KOs Conkeldurr. Nice. I guess it's not super surprising. But yeah. Torracat once again. Well, I guess Torracat didn't really do very much in this game. But I think if we actually led Torracat Tyranitar, we might have been even in a better spot. Because we can just go for the self U-turn play. I would probably have self U-turn Max Darkness into the... Actually, I probably would still Rockfall into the Lapras because it just KOs even through, I think, screens. So, not bad. But I wanted to play a little bit safer because I expected Lapras. And the cool thing about Gothitelle Sylveon is you can punish these slower teams just by putting things to sleep immediately. Once again, like, you can't scoff at that Hyper Voice damage. We used Hyper Voice a lot in this game, and that damage slowly adds up, especially when you combo it with Max Darkness from Tyranitar for those special defense drops. So, yeah, lots of cool stuff happening, and let's look for our third opponent today. We, as Maddie described in their team report as well, Durant doesn't Dynamax that often. Obviously, like, Durant's one of the Pokemon, as you guys have seen throughout the course of this format, that's really, really good, but since it's one of the frailest Pokemon in the metagame, it's very easy to, one-hit KO just with any Fire-type attack, especially given that Incineroar is pretty common. So if you want to sweep through a Durant, you really need to have a set game plan. Make sure that it gets all 3 turns of Dynamax used as well as possible, and you also want to maximize your damage output. Normally with Durant, you want to be picking up KOs, as quickly as possible. So that's why it's a little bit more consistent to Dynamax Tyranitar. As you saw, our opponents had a lot of trouble KOing it. And the thing about Tyranitar is it's so bulky, even super effective attacks don't KO it, but opponents often feel pressure to use super effective attacks into it because otherwise you're doing no damage to it whatsoever. And once you get those super effective attacks into it, then the Weakness Policy gets activated and you just dish out so much consistent damage across the board. Game 3. There is a Dracovish. Okay. Lots of belly drum shenanigans here, right? Like Togekiss and NDD can both protect Snorlax with Follow Me, which will allow Snorlax to set up a belly drum. Which is kind of scary. If I lead Torracat Tyranitar, the problem is that I can't Fake Out, right? So one interesting I could do is actually lead Durant Sylveon if I'm expecting Redirection plus Snorlax. And with that, what I can simply do is just KO the Redirection user with Max Steel Spike, and then Sylveon can just yawn the Snorlax. I'm actually very heavily considering that, because I'd really have to watch out for the belly drum stuff in this game, I think. Milotic isn't that great here. The only problem with this is if it is Sash NDD. In which it might be better actually to just go for a KO, but if we see a Psychic Seed, we can just max Steel Spike immediately. I think I'm going to go Durant Sylveon though, because I need to put on pressure against the Snorlax, which I think could be really problematic, and Fake Out won't work here if NDD comes out immediately, which is also a problem. And in the back, I want Tyranitar for sure. I still want Torracat, I think, for the Intimidate onto Dracovish, but that's the only reason. Intimidate would help out, though, against, like, fast Vicious Wrens, but maybe Milotic is a little bit more consistent here, especially because my opponent does have the Incineroar. So, let's see. I might be tunnel visioning a little bit too hard on my opponent's Snorlax and be bringing too much just to counter Snorlax specifically, but that's the thing that can sweep us, and given that my opponent has 2 redirection users in Snorlax, it's what my eye, leads towards initially in the beginning of this game. And this lead gives us options. It's not like we're completely screwed if my opponent doesn't go with Snorlax immediately as the lead. So, let's see. Ooh, NDD and Dracovish. Now that, I gotta say, I wasn't expecting. Here's the problem. We don't know the ability of the Dracovish. Or, sorry, we don't know the item on the Dracovish. Presumably, it's Choice Scarfed. So what I want to do is Dynamax Durant. What I'm worried about is also just Helping Hand coming out. The thing is, Sylveon, obviously, is the main threat to Dracovish. So, in this position, you would think Dracovish is going to want to Fake Out, or sorry, just Vicious Wren. But my opponent might predict this and actually go for a Helping Hand Vicious Wren into Durant. Saying, hey, I know that you know that's such a big threat. So in this position, I might actually just stand with both, because if I switch out into Milotic and lose Durant, I think I just lose the game. Whereas I think I could win the game even if I lose Durant turn 1. I don't know. I mean, it is a really easy switch into Sylveon. Switching Sylveon into Milotic. But I can really see my opponent not attacking the Sylveon here because I have to be worried about the Vicious Wren. The safer... No, I was going to say the safer play, but no, it's not necessarily a safer play because once again, if I switch into Milotic and you have Helping Hand Vicious Wren, I think I lose the game turn 1 if you are Choice Scarf. If you're not Choice Scarf, then I even get the defense boost, which is nice. And I don't know how fast... I mean, a Dracovish should outspeed Sylveon here. But yeah, Tyranitar would not have worked as well with Torracat in this game. Okay. Oh, he actually just went for regular Vicious Wren, no Helping Hand though, and it did not target Sylveon, so our decision to stay in pays off as we'll get the Max Steel Spike off. It is going to be Focus Sash NDD, but that's honestly fine. We confirmed the Choice Scarf on the Dracovish. The NDD probably is Mystical Firing, I would think. Maybe Psychic. Let's see. Oh, Light Screen. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I don't think we knock out Dracovish now anymore, unfortunately. But I will take that turn, because Sylveon still gets so much damage off here with Hyper Voice. Yeah. And now we get the Throat Spray, so we're basically negating the Light Screen. Not exactly, but yeah. Okay, so we know it's Choice Scarf Dracovish, which is good. The problem is, now you can bring in something else that's fast and maybe just pick up a double KO. Let's see what comes in. It's actually Snorlax. I did not expect that. I mean, that thing's gonna want to Belly Drum up. I might actually be forced to yawn it because I think it definitely Belly Drums. I'm gonna Steel Spike into Fish, which should KO, and actually yawn the Snorlax because I'm gonna get swept by Belly Drum Lax otherwise if I don't yawn here. I don't know Vicious Wren KOs, but yeah, it's gonna target Durant. Nice. So Sylveon's value is really coming through here. Now Snorlax might not Belly Drum. Like, there is a chance it doesn't, but I'm very much expecting it to. Psychic Terrain is up, not Misty Terrain, so we don't have to worry about that. Beautiful. Okay, beautiful. Nice. It's exactly what we needed. Great. So now, I mean, you can max, but you only get 1 attack off and you fall asleep, which is good. Okay. Now the thing is, we are still playing with the Dynamax disadvantage, right? And I don't think I can bring out Tyranitar. I kind of have to bring out the Milotic. Question is, does Vicious Wren KO Sylveon? One cool thing we could do is actually Quick Attack, so we move before Dracovish, so it does less damage. But I think this turn we just double protect. Yeah. This is, yeah, the thing about beating, like, Belly Drum Snorlax, it just, like, commits a whole turn non-Dynamax to set it up, right? So it also commits an item to doing so, and this is one of the ways to basically deny it. My opponent is still going to max the Lax, though, which I actually think is the correct play, because you want to stall out the Dynamax turn. Like, you still have a setup Snorlax, right? You don't want to give that up, because that's your best Pokemon to Dynamax. So let's see if it's able to find its berry back from this turn. We'll also see who Dracovish targets. Because I actually am thinking about the self quick attack play just so Dracovish doesn't KO us. Now we do have defense boost onto the Sylveon as well. Another play we could have made was actually KOing Dracovish with Hyper Voice. The turn Fish's Ren went into Durant, but obviously we didn't know who was going to target there. So there's Ren into Milo, actually. It might be a double up into the Milo. Or just a replenished into Sylveon, which I guess would make sense. Okay, it is double up into Milo too. Which is smart. Let's see. Not get its berry back, which is nice. Cool. I don't think Fish's Ren KOs Sylveon here, right? Maybe that's a little bit lax to assume. But even if I'm quick attacking, I guess Ice Beam isn't KOing, is it? Because of Light Screen. Okay, I'll see if Fish's Ren KOs when we have the +1 defense. I'm not sure it does. And my opponent might also target the Milo too, if it doesn't. Okay, nice. We survived that. Beautiful. Then Recover would have been better there, or even Muddy Water. But like I said, I wasn't sure I was picking up the KO there. I just wanted to guarantee damage onto the fish, and I also wasn't sure how much I was going to take there. The problem is, like, we could still lose to Gigantamax Snorlax if it wakes up fast enough. I think if this thing has a 3-turn sleep, we'd probably just win the game. But you can see it's obviously very, very bulky, and right now I have 2 special attackers, so it can also, if it wakes up, gets a max replenish off, that would be really bad, because then it gets, if it gets the berry back for a max replenish. So let's see what our opponent's last one is. Something with a Q. Ah, Mimikyu. That's cool, actually. That's very cool. It's actually quite bad for us. I think you just knock out Sylveon, so I think I just Muddy Water here and Hyper Voice. I need to switch it into Tyranitar, actually. We need to hope for at least a 2-turn sleep, so that Snorlax doesn't get its berry back, and then I get in Tyranitar, I can just maybe Superpower Muddy Water Snorlax. Also, if it... Dynamax ends after this turn, so we'll be taking more damage, obviously. Actually gonna Shadow Claw Sylveon. Okay, yeah, that's expected. We could have swapped Sylveon out there, but I don't want to risk it because I think Tyranitar is our main win condition. So it's gonna be Life Orb. Yep. We're gonna miss the Muddy Water. Oh, onto Snorlax. That's not good because we need all the damage we can get on that. But that is the risk of using Muddy Water off. Obviously. Get an accuracy drop on Mimikyu. Okay. The main question here is, does Snorlax stay asleep for more than 1 turn? The answer is yes. Okay, nice. So Dynamax ends now. Now the question is, does your Mimikyu have Will-O-Wisp? Light Screen wears off, which is perfect too. So Yawn Sylveon, once again, you can really see how good yawning Dynamax or Gigantamax Pokemon in this format can be. So we're gonna bring out Tyranitar. Max is ended now on both ends. I still think maxing Durant was fine, but the lead definitely caught me a little bit off guard in this match. Wish we got that chip damage we needed onto Snorlax. But the good thing is that Snorlax can't get its berry back now unless it's running Recycle, which isn't that common on Belly Drum Lax. Yeah, so I think I just Muddy Water and Superpower here. I don't know if that KO Snorlax, but even if it doesn't, that plus Sand might. That's why I actually really wanted to hit that earlier Muddy Water. I think that if I hit the earlier Muddy Water, I'd be confident in KOing Snorlax right now. But I have a feeling it'll hang on with about like 15%. 10 to 15%. Depends on how it is EV trained. We could have also just Muddy Water Rock Slided. Maybe we want to knock out Mimikyu. If Mimikyu has Will-O-Wisp here, we were also in trouble. And then we would be relying on a 3-turn sleep, which we obviously don't. So there are a lot of factors in play right now. We saw Shadow Claw. Normally you run Play Rough Trick Room. Okay, you just play Roughing. That's going to activate Weakness Policy. Okay, that should be game. Nice. Yeah, Tyranitar has been so good for us today. Even right now in just regular form. Okay. We can still miss Muddy Waters though, so it's not necessarily over, but we are going to double connect here, which is perfect. Yeah, I think my opponent's win con was maybe hope for a critical hit. Now Superpower should KO Snorlax at +2 attack. But without the weakness policy, there was definitely no way we were KOing there. But like I said, I brought the Sylveon in this game because I knew I needed to deny Belly Drum Lax, because that thing can sweep through this entire team. So I led as aggressively as possible to deny the Belly Drum, basically. And it worked out pretty well. So this is the power of Tyranitar, guys. Don't sleep on it. Durant was great for us in this matchup, though, as well. Getting that first defense boost onto Sylveon was really, really good. As soon as we get that defense boost, Dracovish is not one-shotting us. And that's exactly why I didn't switch Sylveon out turn 1, because that could have been really bad for us. It's actually safer to recover here. Yeah, and crunch. Reason being is Mimikyu's taking Sand and Life Orb damage every turn. if you target the Milotic, then Tyranitar just knocks you out. And here, once we recover, I'm pretty sure even a crit Play Rough or Shadow Claw shouldn't KO us. So I'm just going to recover this turn. There's no reason to protect, I think, this next turn, mainly because their Mimikyu could theoretically have Swords Dance, so that would be the way to throw the match. And I'm pretty sure even a crit Play Rough or Shadow Claw does not KO Milotic. I wasn't sure if Ice Beam was KOing, so I wanted to just play it safe there, a little bit safer, and I'm confident crit Mimikyu. Ooh, it could have Life Orb Woodhammer, actually. I don't think Life Orb Woodhammer KOs either, but a crit Life Orb Woodhammer might, but he's just Shadow Clawing. So I actually think it's probably better to Ice Beam there because of the threat of Woodhammer, because I think Life Orb crit Woodhammer does KO this Milotic, so we probably should have just Ice Beam. Especially because it's taking Life Orb damage anyway, yeah. So I was trying to sound smart there in the end, but I discounted the factor of Woodhammer. And what I didn't want to do was Ice Beam, have the Mimikyu hang on with over 2 Sandstorm ticks, but that probably wasn't going to happen because it was taking like 16% that turn from Life Orb and Sand anyway, so Ice Beam into that slot was just safer. No need to overthink it in that position. Maybe get a little bit more HP than I think Recover is to play, but in that position, Ice Beaming is fine. So yeah, that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the team. Torcat actually was able to do a bunch for us today, and obviously Tyranitar really proved its worth, but we were able to feature all the members of the team, which was pretty exciting as well, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Go check out the original version of this team built by Justin Ramirez, as well as the updated version built by Andrew Ding, and of course this team itself built by Maddie. And thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Hopefully catch you at a future stream at Cybertron VGC. Guys, thank you so much once again for the silver play button. This wouldn't be possible without any of you guys, so I didn't do this. We all did this together, so thank you so much. This reward is for all of us, and yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Anyway, I'll catch you guys soon, and thanks for watching again. Alright, peace.